A single dad janitor pressed his hand over the CEO's mouth and whispered, "Don't go inside." That one moment changed everything. Her future, his past, and the truth buried in the dark. As you listen, tell me in the comments what your first reaction would have been if it happened to you. Serena Vale had always believed the financial district of Ravensbridge felt different after midnight. The glass towers grew quieter, the air colder, the streets almost too still, as if the city itself was holding its breath. She stepped out of her car with that familiar weight in her chest, the one that came whenever she returned to Valiant Capital after hours. It was supposed to be a quick trip. Just grab a file, review it at home, get 3 hours of sleep, and face another day of boardroom battles. That was her rhythm. That was control. And control was the one thing she never allowed herself to lose. Her heels clicked against the marble floor as the elevator rose to the 30th story. Every level felt lonelier than the last. She should have turned back when she noticed the lights still glowing through the frosted glass at the end of the hallway. She distinctly remembered switching them off before leaving. But Serena Vale was not the kind of woman who second-guessed herself. Not until tonight. She walked toward the conference room, her hand already reaching for the handle. A faint hum filled the space, the kind that didn't belong in an empty floor. Something mechanical. Something wrong. She leaned in to listen. And then, just as her fingertips brushed cold metal, an arm shot out from behind her and wrapped around her waist. Another hand covered her mouth before the breath could leave her lungs. "Don't scream," a man whispered. Voice low, strained, urgent, as if saying the words any louder would break them both. Serena thrashed, instinct rising like fire in her chest. But the grip only tightened for a heartbeat. "Don't go inside. There are people in there waiting to hurt you." The world stilled. Serena froze. She didn't believe him. Not at first. Who would dare target her? Who could sneak into her building without tripping alarms? Who would know she was coming back tonight? And then the answer crashed through the silence. Glass shattered inside the conference room, sharp and violent, followed by the fast thud of footsteps scattering across tile. Serena's breath hitched as the man pulled her back into the shadow of a concrete pillar, shielding her with his body as if it the most natural thing in the world. Only when the noise faded did he slowly lower his hand from her mouth. She spun toward him, ready to demand answers, ready to burn the fear out of her system with fury. But the words died before reaching her lips. Marcus Ellison, the night shift janitor, the man she'd walked past 100 times without a second glance. He stood there, chest rising hard, eyes steady in a way that sent a chill down her spine. Not because he frightened her, but because his fear was real. "You need to trust me," he said quietly, almost apologetically. "Someone's in there. And they weren't here by accident." For the first time in 2 years, Serena didn't see a uniform or a mop cart or another faceless worker cleaning the floors behind her success. She saw a man who had just stopped her from walking straight into danger. A man she had never truly seen until this very moment. Serena's pulse was still hammering when the last echo of footsteps faded down the corridor. The building felt different now, not like the fortress of glass and steel she'd ruled for years, but something fragile, something breathing in the dark. Marcus stepped back just enough for her to see his face clearly. The harsh overhead lights carving out the tension in his jaw. "I need you to listen," he said quietly, keeping his voice low, as if the shadows themselves might be wired. "I saw them on the cameras before the feed cut out. 3 men, suits, gloves, moving like they